You're most welcome. Thank you so much. I think you're very lucky that you're beginning your term with a big project, which is for the young people. AFCON 2027, we are here for the training pitch in Makerere University.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you. Thank you so much. Chairman. Thank you so much. So you permit me? Yes. I was meant to be here tomorrow, Professor. Let me try my best. I'm told there's an activity they wanted me to flag off tomorrow. Yes. Tomorrow. What time? 9. Are you coming? Let me try my best. I hope it doesn't rain again. But you know, it's at night, but still we can have rain tonight. Let me try my best.
Cap 151. If you read it verbatim, it says under 7.1, a National Sport Association and National Sport Federation shall be registered under this act to manage a sport discipline at national level. So whoever has the question, the answer is provided there. So they must register under this act. I want to also add my voice to Council Razak that the fact that the Honorable Minister, with the powers bestowed on him, he has extended the transitional period of registration to 20th day of June 2025, meaning that these federations are still in existence until 20th of June. Thereafter, now you can ask the other question, just to clarify. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Because they were consulted. In coming up with this law, there was an extensive consultation which were given to all of us. And all stakeholders agreed into what we have, what we came up with. And now that we have the law in place, what I expect from all of us is to allow the law to work so that we have, like if you had in my statement, a well-structured, governed sports in Uganda. Now, to go to what you've just brought forward, first of all, I want to reiterate. We have, according to the Act, one federation or association. We will never have two. In boxing, we all know that there's amateur and professional, but all under one boxing federation or association. So whatever is happening, I ask the chairman of council and the general secretary to harmonize, but what I cannot accept is to have one professional boxing assume that they are a federation or association. No, they remain under one body, and that's the law. So the role of who is who, no, that one I want to be categorical. As per the law we have today, going forward, Uganda Boxing Federation will work as Uganda Boxing Federation. For purpose of professional and amateur, that is a subdivision within one word. So how they are going to resolve it, to agree with it, that's the role of council. And it's the reason we have council. The other issue, which again I think you brought forward, was on the issue of, the other question which I recall off cuff was on the issue of what? Of federation, association. Friends, I want to be honest, if you don't meet the criteria, you forgive us. We consulted you. We are only here now to begin to execute the laws, because the truth is we also want a governed sports body. And you can imagine we have been with that law from 1964 to which date now, which I want to say, maybe up to the commencement date, up to, no, we have been operating that law for almost 50 years. The world has evolved, and particularly the sports sector is so dynamic and keeps on changing every day. So I want to request our good friends out there, we thank you, and I want to ask the General Secretary and the entire chairperson of council and commissioner here, we must come out to go and explain this law to the public so that the public appreciates what we are talking about. For instance, like the council said there, you are a promoter of sport, you are an agent of sport, we are what again? So all this, we want to have them registered. So we can't allow you to operate when we don't know where your address is and who you are. So this is the law as of now. We will also talk about the other side of why we want them registered. And all this came from the consultation when we were coming up with this law. I thank you. Unless any of my people here have a word or two, they can talk about it.
To have for its citizens. And the minister is the one with the powers to allow a new sports discipline or one that continues to be in a country to be a sports discipline. So there are 50 sports disciplines. So that is very different from the sports federations. The law first clears out what Uganda as a country will participate in as far as sports is concerned. Then later on, that's when it addresses that body, which I may say independent body, which body or what body that government entrusts with promoting that sport, and at what level, whether it meets a threshold of a federation or it just meets a threshold of an association. So those are two different things. Uganda chooses which sports disciplines it as a country or us as a country want to participate in, and those are clear. But you failing, or as an entity failing to measure up as a federation, does not mean that Uganda will not have that as a sport. We will not strike that one off. What it means is, you need to work if you still have to get registered, or if there's another body that is ready to meet the threshold, then. But the law is also clear that it allows for transition of the existing federation and sports associations to measure up to what has now been cleared up in the SI instrument to show you how you could now be registered as a national sports association or federation. So our hope is that all the national sports associations and federations that have been operating should be able to measure up. But also what the law is trying to prohibit in a sense is that you register as an association or federation and stop promoting the sport. You stay around Kampala, you don't go to the extent of the country to tap the talent, and also for, to allow the Ugandans in the different corners of the country to enjoy the benefits of participating in the different sports disciplines that Uganda has chosen as its sports discipline. But also this same schedule that is within the law allows the schools, the secondary school and primary school sports, choose which sports discipline they now talk about as the 15 sports discipline that they will participate in. For example, a school will not say, for us we are doing dodgeball, which all of us played when we were kids, but it's not in the schedule of the sports disciplines that Uganda participates in. So the schools will be obliged to look into through the 50 sports disciplines and say, okay, we are picking these 15. That's what speaks to us as a school. That's what we're able to provide for. And there's also that other aspect of secondary school and primary school sports. So I wanted to clarify, because more often than not, Honorable Minister, we see these sports leaders go out there and say, this sport is going to die in the country. We are not saying it's not going to die. You try and measure up, but still Uganda will choose these sports disciplines to continue working in the countries. What we hope is that they will measure up. Thank you, Honorable.
The Act, the National Sports Act, Section 45, I read verbatim. It says, compliance with the Public Finance Management Act 2015, the Council shall at all times comply with the Public Finance Management Act. The Council gives subvention budgets to national sports federations and associations. Secondly, I don't know how many of you have read the Constitution of Uganda. I think should be 154, 155.
Article 264.
Everybody who draws money from the consolidated account of government is required to account by Constitution. So you don't actually need the act. You need by Constitution, if you test that money, use that money, account for it. So our good friend from Daily Monitor.
And doctor, by the way, you will be personally.
It is said personal responsibility.
Even if you cease to hold that office, today you can be there, but tomorrow you cannot be there, but you will be personally liable.
Two, Honourable Minister, in this act, Section 43 also talks about audit. that the Auditor General and an auditor appointed by the Auditor General shall, and the word shall for lawyers know what it means, in each financial year, audit the accounts of the council. So we give you money. So there is no way, even if tomorrow you close your federation, association, we will look for you to account for that money. So accountability issues should not be a question. It will be a responsibility for every party. And we are hopeful that this process which the Honourable Minister has announced, first of all, is to support the federations to get more organized. You have seen in this opening remark talk about improving governance and the rest. This is where the law is taking us all. I think, for me, I will leave the other part to my seniors, the other side, because I think it has been explained very well on the issue of presence. But I want to only mention one word there. For any sport to develop, it must have structures. So if you don't have structures, then you cannot be active. My interpretation of this law is therefore that it requires federations to have active structures that promote the development of the sport in the districts mentioned. So don't allow or don't think this council will allow federations to register District X to be active when they don't have the structures. And I know the council will guide us better to ensure that we physically go there and confirm from the district authorities, the RDC, the district COW, the LC5, the DEO, the sports officer, whether that sport is active in their district. We would require documentations. So we are talking about realities, that you are not sending us documents when on the ground there is no sport activity taking place. I think that is the point the law is emphasizing, active.
Dr.